Hello, and welcome to the first Doodle DIY live stream. I'm so excited for those of you who are joining us. I'm Jess. Today we will be drawing an apple together using Inkscape. You can ask questions in the comments and I will try to answer. Hopefully you've already installed Inkscape from inkscape.org, or you have Adobe Illustrator already installed on your computer. I personally love Inkscape because it's open source, which means anyone can use it and contribute to the code. For me, it's important software I use in class can be used by my students at home. Vector drawing is quite a bit different than drawing with a regular paint app. Vector images, they look smooth no matter how far you zoom in. They don't get pixelated. If you're used to using a regular paint app, or even if you're used to pictures that you take with your cell phone camera, the more you zoom in, they tend to get very pixelated, and that does not happen with vector drawings. To use Inkscape, you don't need any special drawing skills. I'm going to be showing you how to see an apple as simple shapes and then merge those shapes together to create a drawing of an apple. Before we get started, there's a few terms that will be helpful as we use Inkscape for you to know. The first one is the artboard or the canvas. So that is this space here. It kind of looks like a piece of paper, and you can think of it like a piece of paper. This is where you draw. So anything that you put here, whenever you export it to an actual like PNG or JPEG file, it will take what is on the artboard or the canvas. The other terms you need to know are node. So a node is a point along a path of an object that determines its shape. And then also related to that is path segment, the line between two nodes. And that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now, but I'm going to elaborate on it once we get to that point. There's also a couple tools we're going to be using and one we will not be using. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to come over here to the right and turn off this tool here. This is snapping, so you can just unclick that. It'll make your life a whole lot easier as we start moving things around on our canvas. And the other two tools that we will be using is the selector or the arrow tool, and that's actually the tool that I'm using right now. If you go to the left toolbar, you can see it here. It's the very first one, so you can click that. And then the one right below it is the node tool. And so this one we'll also be using quite a lot today. So you can switch back and forth between those two. Your apple, it's not going to look exactly like mine. I would actually be sad if it did. You are a unique person and you have your own unique style, which is completely different from mine. So I want you to embrace your style and don't get too caught up on what it should or shouldn't look like. We're not all the same, and our art isn't all the same. So as we're getting started here, I want you to just think about an apple and what shapes make an apple. So I want you to be thinking like, you know, is it a rectangle shape? Is it a square shape? Is it a triangle shape? Is it a circle? Is it a combination of any of those shapes? Having a real apple in front of you can be helpful when you're drawing, but you can also look up reference photos online. And I've actually got some reference photos here because of Mac. It's helpful to put in apple fruit and not just apple, or else you get a bunch of apple logos. But here you can see like even different apples have different shapes. So this one has like kind of these little bumps at the bottom, and it kind of comes in at the top, and then it's got the stem, and this one even has a leaf. Whereas this one here is much more round. You really only have the flattening out on the top, and then a little tiny stem that almost looks like a triangle. So either find a photo while I'm talking here, or an apple in your house, or just think of what an apple might look like, and that will be really, really helpful. So for me, when I often think of an apple, I kind of go more towards this style on the end here, where you've got sort of the little bumps on the bottom and then kind of the curving in the top. So that's the apple I'm going to be imagining in my head, so that's what I'm going to be drawing. But again, yours does not have to look like mine. It's yours. I'm going to go back into Inkscape now. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create an oval. So if you come over to the left toolbar and select the circle, Now your tool has changed and you can create circles or you can create ovals. It's up to you. So I'm going to create an oval. And I'm just right now deleting, so I'm selecting my ovals because I don't want these two, and I'm pressing the delete button and doing the same with that one. And so now I'm going to create one oval like that for my apple. I'm going to go back to my selector tool and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say duplicate, and I'm going to put these two shapes together side by side. So right now my apple is not the correct color of an apple. It's teal, not red or green. So in order to change the color of something, you can click on it and you can go up to Object and down to Fill and Stroke. And so this will open up a dock on the right-hand side, and you can change the color using the color wheel. You also may have noticed that you have a palette at the bottom of your screen, and you can use this too to change colors, but you don't get as much choice. So I prefer to use the Fill and Stroke dock. So I'm just going to go with like, maybe that shade of red for today, and I can do the exact same over here. And actually, if I want this to completely match, instead of trying to, fiddle around in here and get it exactly the same, I can actually go down here to the eyedropper tool, and I can pick the color from my first oval. So now I've got two ovals that are the same color. So the next step is to actually merge these two objects together. And to do that, I'm going to click outside of my apple, my two ovals, and I'm going to drag my mouse up. And then I'm going to go up to Path, and I'm going to say Object to Path. So essentially now we're changing it from an object into a path which will have nodes and path segments. And actually, before I do that, I want to show you what that kind of looks like now. So while it's an object, if I go to Node Tool, you can see that there are only these three selectors here, and they don't do a whole lot. Like if I move this one, then it goes out, it becomes more wide. If I pull this one, it becomes higher, it gets more height. But whenever I go to object, or when I go to path and I go object to path, now I have 4 nodes. So each one of these squares is a node, and I can move them individually. So I can move this one out, and it doesn't affect the one on the left. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm going to go path, object to path, and you can see the change. And now I'm going to take my selector tool and I'm going to select both of them again. And I'm going to go up to path and I'm going to select union. And so this is going to take the 2 ovals and it's going to make them one complete object. And now if we go back to the node tool, you can see what a difference that's made. So I have 2 more nodes here, and there's no nodes in the center. So the next step is, well, first of all, so now that we've joined those 2 together, we essentially have a butt. So hopefully you have a butt. But we're going to take our butt and we're going to turn it into an apple by making just a couple really simple adjustments. So with our node tool, usually, and you might want to look at your real life apple or a picture of an apple to see what your inspiration looks like. But usually apples are a little bit taller on the top or a little bit wider on the top than they are on the bottom. So we can use our nodes, we can adjust our nodes to give that effect, because right now it's very even. The top is exactly the same as the bottom. So to do that, you take your node tool and you select these 2 middle nodes. And I find it personally useful to just use my arrow keys to tap up a couple times. And you can see it's already starting to look much more like an apple just by moving 2 nodes slightly up a little bit more. Apples usually aren't very symmetrical either, so you can sort of shift your nodes around, make them so that the sides aren't exactly the same. Bring the nodes in a little bit more. Like it's your, just do whatever feels right and seems like an apple to you. Mine's a little bit lumpy today. And also, so these are our nodes. But then I mentioned before about paths. So this is a path here. So you can see it's the point in between two nodes. And you can move that as well. And you can also adjust here your nodes a little bit more. So have a play. And whenever you're done, and you like the shape that you have, then you can duplicate your apple. So go back to your selector tool and duplicate. And if you've noticed too, there's also, if you're really good with keyboard shortcuts, you can duplicate doing Control D. But I'm just keeping it really simple today. So now I have two. I'm going to make one slightly darker than the other. And then I'm going to duplicate this one as well. So now you should have 3 apples. So the top one that you just made, make it just like a totally random color. The color does not matter. We want it to stand out so we can see what we're doing. And this is going to become, the darker color is going to become the shadow of our apple. So here we're going to just kind of offset it, decide where you think the shadow might be for your apple. And you can see I just only have that little thin bit of dark red. And the dark red, we're going to be cutting it so that only the dark red exists. So whatever you see at this point, in the next step, like that's all that will be there. The purple or whatever color you chose for the top apple, we're going to cut it out. So if you take your selector tool and select both those apples and go up to path, and this time we're going to select difference. So as you can see, it just cut out the dark red that we could see. If you don't like it, if you're like, oh, I made a terrible mistake, I want to do that again, you can just press Control Z to undo. And then, yeah, adjust until you get it exactly the way you like it. Now you can take your shadow and you can place it on your apple, like that. At this time, you can also change the opacity. So normally whenever you're working with colors, you have like the full strength of the color and it's not see-through at all. But sometimes you might want to make things more see-through. And in order to do that, you just click on the object and you can adjust the alpha channel here. And you can see how it's getting lighter. That's because it's showing more of the original color of the full apple. Or you can also just adjust it with opacity down here. And you pretty much get the same effect. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a highlight. So you get like a little highlight over here to show where the light's coming from. So I'm imagining that my light source is over here. So in order to do this, we're going to create a rectangle. So come back over to your toolbar and select the rectangle. You might want to make this a different color as well, so probably not red. I'm going to make mine a gray so it stands out on my white background a bit. Go back up to your selector tool. As you can see, because I was playing around with opacity with the shadow, my highlight is now also, it's got 44 opacity. So you might want this, you might want it to be a stronger highlight. So I'm just going to turn it up to 100 just so everybody can easily see what's going on. The next step is to go up to path. And again, we're going to turn this object from a rectangle into a path. And you can see we have 4 nodes now. And so here we're going to be largely adjusting the segments, the path segments, to kind of make them curved because our apple is curved. You can also click on nodes and delete them if you want more of a triangular shape. You really just like have a play and decide what you think your apple should look like. This is quite blocky, so this is actually another thing that you can play around with. If you go to Edit Paths, there are a couple different choices for your paths and also for your nodes. So you can make nodes auto smooth, you can make selected segments or paths curves. So that can be really helpful whenever you don't want it to be so blocky and sharp like this is currently looking. So I'm going to just play around, see if auto smooth does what I want. Let's see. Yep, so it worked on that one. Still quite blocky down there. So I'm going to do the same thing to the whole thing. That might actually not work the way I want it. Yeah, see, it didn't quite work the way I want it. Now I just have a huge hole, but that's all we have. Control Z. So here I actually might want to just there we go. Cool, so I've got a highlight. And like I mentioned before, yeah, you can totally play with your opacity. You could also, it doesn't have to be white, it could be another shade of red, like a lighter shade. It's your apple, it's up to you. And then finally, the thing that we need for this apple is we need a stem. And for the stem, you can actually, sometimes depending on the shape of your highlight, you can actually just copy and paste that and change the color and adjust the nodes a little bit. Or you can go and create a rectangle and do pretty much the same thing that we did with go up to path, object to path, and adjust it until you have a stem that you like. Now, you might notice that with the stem, it's like in front of the apple, so it doesn't, at least in this case, it doesn't necessarily look like it belongs to the apple. So if you could add a shadow or whatever to make it look more natural, or you can just send it to the back. So that will take it and put it behind all of the drawings that we've already done. So in order to do that, you select it with your selector tool, and then you come up here and you can lower your selection to the very, very bottom of everything. And there you go. So now you should have an apple. You can keep working on your drawing, perfecting it. You could also add to it. It doesn't have to just be an apple. Think about what story you could tell with the basis of an apple. I personally really like working with Inkscape because whenever we export it, there will be no background. So anything that is currently white on the page where we haven't put an object, that will be see-through and we'll only see the apple. So it's really great for if you use Scratch for video games, you can create something in Inkscape and you can import it as a PNG to use as a sprite. But you can do heaps more with Inkscape. Like you could create a whole comic out of this. You could create a beautiful illustration. There's really no limit. Inkscape is amazing. You can even, with Inkscape, you can even create stuff with vinyl cutters, like if you have a Cricut, or laser cutters. So yeah, Inkscape is fabulous. If you are finished with your drawing, or when you're finished with your drawing, to export it, go up to File, go down to Export PNG Image, and right now it's selected as drawing, and so then it'll only export anything that is drawn. However, in this case, because I have this stuff over here, it'll want to export that too. And so I don't want to do that. You can also select everything that you want to have export and export a selection. But I'm just going to keep it really, really simple, and I'm going to just export as a page. So export area